Okay, welcome to Cooking on Low. We're here, we're gonna make chocolate cupcakes. My daughter and my nieces are begging me to show them how, so we're doing it from scratch. Simple ways that you can change this up. You can use a cake mix box. It has a recipe on there for that. But I just want to show you from scratch. So, ingredients: flour. This is baking powder, baking sugar, baking soda, and salt. We have brown sugar, white sugar, cocoa powder, unsweetened. Make sure you get that unsweetened kind. Vanilla extract, canola oil, buttermilk, eggs. Okay. If you don't have buttermilk, instead of buying one and let it waste away, you can use regular milk. Add a tablespoon of vinegar to a cup of regular milk, and that'll let it sit for 5 minutes, and it'll act the same as buttermilk. It won't taste quite the same, but it works pretty well, and it works really well without having to buy a big jug of it. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna combine our flour, our baking soda powder and salt, and our cocoa. And we're gonna stir those together. You just wanna get them nice and combined. You can, if you want, sift them, but for the most part, this will help with that as well. And yeah, that's good. Check. Just make sure you scrape the sides and the bottom just to mix some stuff in. If you use a glass bowl, you can always look at the bottom and see if it's mixed in well. So then we set that aside. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take our eggs, okay, our sugars, vanilla, our oil, and we're going to mix those. Little circles. Remember little circles. When you're stirring, things to remember, make circles when you stir with the bottom of the spoon, okay, and then move the bowl. Makes it much easier than sitting here stirring and stirring and stirring and moving around the bowl. Move the bowl itself, okay, because then you'll be doing two things at once. You're moving stuff around the bowl and you're stirring at the same time. But make small circles, okay. You can stir that. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put half of this into here and half of this into there and stir it until it's nice and combined. I want to get rid of the, you can see some egg pieces. Okay, we're gonna pour half of that in. Do half. And then half of that in. And you notice it was a little lumpy. That's the whole point. And we'll stir. And then once it's combined, we're going to add the rest. Yep. Yep, poured in. So we will pour it in. Make sure we scrape the bottom and the sides and get it nice and mixed together. Add-ins, if you want to add stuff in, you could add chocolate chips to this. You could add caramel chips, white chocolate, whatever you want, really. If you want more chocolate, you could melt some and pour it in here. Okay, and it's alright if it's a little lumpy. Actually want it lumpy, a little lumpy. So then we get our, we're gonna do silver, right? You wanna do half and I'll do half? Okay. Cupcake cups in. Okay, and then what I found works best, these cupcakes, and cupcakes in general, is you get a dry measuring spoon, and we will just straight into the bottom. Okay, 1/4 of a cup for this size pan usually works pretty well. Right into the middle. Just like that. And then we are going to put them in an oven that's been preheated by 350. Okay, we got exactly 12 out of this. We had to scrape the bowl, but we got exactly 12. Roughly, you want to fill them the cups 3/4 of the way, and then we want to go through and we want to wipe any little drips we might have had. Trust me, this will save you in clean time afterwards. But clean off any of these drips. Make sure your cups don't fold in. Okay, if they do, just kind of mess with the outside so that the cups are nice and even around the edges. Sometimes that'll do is it'll mess up your way they look. It won't be as circular. It also makes it so that your cupcakes don't bake equally and you get some hard spots. Other thing you'll notice, you'll see bubbles rising out of the cupcakes. That's a good thing. You want that. So we're gonna put these in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Like any cake, you just want to check with a toothpick. It wants to come out clean when we pull it out. So double check that. If it still has stuff running on it, put it back in for a couple minutes. I usually go under, just to be safe, 15 minutes. This will probably end up taking about 18, maybe 19, but I'm gonna go with 15 to start. Okay, now we're gonna make our frosting. For this, we're making a buttercream frosting. Okay, we're gonna start with butter, and we're gonna put it in a mixer. If you have a hand mixer, that works great, or a stand mixer, it's fine too. If you can pull it out early enough and make it room temperature, it'll make this process easier. If not, you're just gonna let it go longer and let it beat. You wanna get this nice and creamy and fluffy. It should change to a pale yellow, and it should be creamy and fluffy. So we're gonna let this go probably about 3 minutes. Is how long this is gonna take. 2-3 minutes. Once this starts to cream up, we're gonna add most of our sugar. This is powdered sugar. We're not gonna add all of it. Our milk or cream, depending on what you use. Vanilla, and then we have salt here. This is in case it's a little too sweet. You put a little pinch of salt in there, it helps with that sweetness. But main thing is you want to get it nice and creamy. Okay, so we've been going for about 2.5 minutes. We're gonna take it up, scrape it down. So definitely creamy at this point. So we're gonna go ahead and knock it off the paddle. We're gonna add our milk, our vanilla. Okay, and like I said, we're not gonna add all our sugar. We're gonna add most of our sugar. To do this, I suggest you use a measuring cup to pour the flour in. You don't just want to dump it in or it's going to go everywhere. right? So what we're gonna do is get our oven. Okay. What about, like on my mixer, I have it at a 2 right now. When I was doing it with the butter earlier to cream it, it was at about a 4 to 5. I think the hardest part about working with my daughter is that she's left-handed and I'm right-handed, so when I go to do stuff with her, I forget to switch hands to show her, or I set things up for me, and she has trouble sometimes. So okay, we're going to let this stir for about 30 minutes, 30 seconds. Get it nice and creamy. Come out a little more. Let's go that way. Then we will scrape it. And you notice it's turned into a nice icing. Scrape sides, scrape the bottom, scrape paddle. Okay, if you wanted to add melted chocolate to this to make it a chocolate frosting, you could. If you wanted to add food coloring to make it a certain color, you could. I added vanilla, so it's a vanilla frosting. If you want to add a different flavor, that's up to you, but you would put it in place of the vanilla itself. So you could buy a mint, almond, there's all sorts of flavorings out there. For you adults, you could add, this is where you could add bourbon from any of those type of flavors to it, if you wanted to. But get it scraped down and put it on medium low and let it go for about another 15 seconds.
Wow.
Alright, so it's been in the oven. I think we ended up going 19 minutes is what we ended up doing. So toothpick come out clean. Couple of these got a little away from us. That's okay. We're gonna let them cool completely, and then we're going to ice them with our buttercream icing. Okay, we've let these cool in the pan. We want them to cool all the way, and then we take them out. Okay, if they get stuck on the side at all, use a flat metal spatula to get them out. That's what we're gonna do. Flatter is the best, and just go around all the sides. And it should pop right out. So. Go around in the circle. It comes right out. Okay, this only works with this really flat spatula. If it's too thick, it'll break the cupcake itself. And then for icing, I'm gonna ice them for you. If you want to buy a piping bag, feel free to. You don't have to though. I use a large Ziploc. The way the tips work, these are Wilson tips. There's a piece that goes in the bag itself, then this screws onto it, and the tip goes over underneath it while it's screwed on. Okay, so then with a Ziploc and with all bags, Don't close it all the way. You don't want it airtight. Give it a twist. You want some of this air to escape without puncturing the hole. And then squeeze from the top. Okay. Don't squeeze down here. Squeeze up here. Guys got that? Ours, if you want it to be a little stiffer, put it in the fridge. Ours is a little runny. Probably could use a little bit more powdered sugar, but that's okay. So, but again, keep twisting. I like to push with my palm is actually where I push. And we're gonna finish ours with some sprinkles. Right, Eisley? Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and put on sprinkles.
And more is not necessarily better. Okay, it's the old saying of less is more. And then here is, okay, switch to another color.
I'm gonna make them all the
Chocolate cupcakes. Yeah, my icing is definitely runny. Powdered sugar should fix that. Also in the fridge will fix it too. So if you want to put it in the bag and put it in the fridge and get it cold, you can. Don't go too long or it will get too hard.
Make them all the same.
So sprinkle on top. And there you go. Enjoy.